All right. Matthew chapter 6, verses 1 through 4. Chapter 6, verses 1 through 4. It says, "Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets, to be honored by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." Now, the key here and all the way down, verses 1 through 18, is kind of this idea of to be seen by them. To be seen by them. This reveals the motivation, in this instance, for giving. In a few verses, how we pray. In a few verses later, fasting. So he says here, the motivation for giving. He says this reveals the motivation for giving because they want to be seen by others. It isn't primarily obedience. They don't give primarily out of obedience, though it is obedience. And they don't give primarily to be helpful to others, although the one who receives is helped. But the primary motivation is to impress others with your righteousness. And Jesus says that we can do good things, we can do righteous things for the wrong reasons. And if we do them for the wrong reasons, we are pretending righteousness. Or as one person put it, they called it theatrical righteousness. And because the reason you did it was to impress others, and you did impress others, you got your reward. You did it in order to get recognition. You got the recognition, so God doesn't need to reward you because you already got what you were looking for. So Jesus gives us examples of how we can be guilty of this concerning giving to the needy, prayer, and fasting. By New Testament times, the giving of alms or benevolence had become considered one of the most righteous things a person could do. To voluntarily give your money to help the needy. Now, there's no evidence that people actually blew trumpets when they gave. However, and I think it was 13 different locations in the temple, there were collection boxes for almsgiving. And the receptacle, it was a wooden box, and on top of the wooden box was a brass receptacle that looked like the horn, looked like a trumpet horn. And the thought is that as people dropped their coins in, if you got close, you could do it quietly, but if you wanted people to notice, you just hold your coins up higher. And so when they hit that brass trumpet, it would kind of resound through the temple courts. Some have suggested that because these trumpet-like funnels were made of brass, like I said, people would drop their coins from a distance and they would get the recognition. Now, in what ways might this happen today? We don't have wooden boxes with brass trumpets, but how might we try to draw attention to our acts of righteousness? Social media? Okay, yeah, on social media. Bragging about it. Well, so Jesus says here, he says that we should try to keep our giving out of the public eye. To the extent, he says, that our left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. Now, of course, that can't actually happen unless you have a serious neurological problem. Okay? But the idea is don't draw attention to yourself. That's all the point he's making. Don't try and get recognition from people. Just give quietly. Give secretly. God will know.